What is going on here? Did anybody contact you before this letter went out accusing you of this, that, and the other and making a criminal referral about real estate transactions?
No, not at all. And let me just say to all New Yorkers and to all Americans, the allegations are baseless. The allegations are nothing more than a revenge tour. And as you mentioned, my office was successful in securing a $454 million judgment against Donald Trump and others for exaggerating the value of his assets. He engaged in a pattern and practice of fraud. And the interest is accruing each and every day while the case is on appeal in the First Department. It's important that individuals know that this is nothing more than the continuation of the tour. He went after law firms, universities, immigrants, women. Thousands of federal employees right now are unemployed. Our government is in chaos and in disarray. Medicaid, Social Security, CFPB, and the list goes on and on and on. And as you know, as you mentioned, each and every day, my office is leading the fight against these executive orders, which have no legal import at all, have no legal significance. And we are standing up for the rights and privileges of New Yorkers and Americans. I will not be silenced. I will not be bullied. I will not bend. I will not break. And I will not bow to anyone. No one is above the law, including the President of these United States.
Okay.
The Office of the Attorney General will continue to stand up.
Let me follow up of some of what's in this letter. It says, according to media reports, which for us in the media is kind of a red flag, meaning that it seems to be based on some social media posts that I know were made by partisan political actors. But just let me ask you about some of the specifics in the letter. They're saying that your house in Brooklyn is a legal 5-family and the mortgage on it is for a 4-family house. Is that true?
So let me just say that, Errol, you know, as any good attorney, I will not litigate this case in a camera. It's important that we will respond to these allegations at the appropriate time and in an appropriate way. But I will not go back and forth with respect to these baseless allegations. I am more focused, again, on standing up for the freedoms, the liberties, and for the rule of law in the state of New York.
I was under the impression by all of this that what they were really looking for is what they got, which is a headline saying, Tish James is under a criminal investigation. Is that pretty much what's going on here?
Yeah, that's what they got. That's what they got. And it's unfortunate that you have some of these right-wing conservative individuals who are camped out in front of my home and in front of the homes of my relatives in Virginia, harassing them each and every day. And it's unfortunate, knocking on the doors of my neighbors and the neighbors of my relatives in the state of Virginia. And it is nothing more than a headline. Nothing more than, again, retaliation against all of the actions that I have taken successfully against Donald Trump.
Okay. Well, yeah, as you know, members of the New York press corps are not shy about this stuff. And believe me, we'd be there in the hunt if there was anything to hang on to. I didn't find very much. That's partly why I was asking you about it. Let me move on, though, and ask you about some of the litigation that you are involved in. The funding for college students, that kind of slipped under the radar. There's so many other different things that are going on, but there's a threat to funding that you and some of your fellow attorneys general are suing over. What's the latest on that?
So we've got, Errol, a number of cases, including defending the rights of universities, defending academic freedom, and protecting private institutions. And so we are currently, a complaint has been filed, and we have filed amicus briefs in support of their position. And it's important that individuals know that funding obligations come from Congress. They have the power of the purse and not the President of the United States. It's also important to know that he's exceeded his authority in a number of these executive orders, and he's engaged in arbitrary and capricious decisions which are in violation of the law. And that's why we have been successful in getting temporary restraining orders and preliminary injunctions in the majority of our cases.
We have seen some students and other New Yorkers who have been unceremoniously snatched up, and I don't know if the word deportation is correct. Some of them look like the definition of renditions, where people are just sent to other countries or other states without any due process at all. Are you involved in some of that litigation as well?
Yeah, we have been in touch with the ACLU and a number of other organizations all across this country. You would call it rendition. I call it kidnapping. At the end of the day, it's about the lack of due process, and it's important that individuals understand if they do it to one person, they can do it to all of us. And that's why we've got to stand up and protect our freedoms and our rights under the Constitution.
I know there's a lot going on, so I'll have to jump around a little bit here. We're closing in on the ending of a budget that turned in a lot of ways on discovery reform. Was your office involved in that? Do you have a position on whether or not that law needs to change?
We were involved in the discussions to a certain extent, but it's my understanding that the 5 New York City district attorneys have come to a conceptual agreement as they move the budget forward. The number one concern was the dismissal of some cases and the prejudice to defendants. And it's my understanding that both sides have come to some agreement. And I am glad that we can at least move forward in passing a budget for the state of New York.
Right. And then I guess going back to this whole issue of the Trump administration suggesting that there be a criminal referral. Do you have a relationship with Pam Bondi? I believe you both were attorneys general around the same time when she was Florida State Attorney General.
No, there was no overlapping. So unfortunately, I don't have a relationship with Ms. Bondi.
Okay. And then, when they come at you a lot of different ways. There was a headline about them revoking your security clearance. Has that happened? And as a practical matter, does that make it harder for you to do your job?
Errol, I don't know what that means. I have my own detail. I'm not a federal employee. I'm a state employee. And as a result of serving as the Attorney General of the state of New York, you have detail, you have detectives. So revoking my federal security has no meaning, has no significance. I still go into federal buildings. And in fact, I'm welcomed into federal buildings all throughout the state of New York.
Well, I guess as far what came to my mind with things around, sensitive information around possible terrorist attacks and that sort of a thing. Are you in those conversations when you need to be?
So prior to this administration, there were a number of task force that we work with on a federal level, and those task force continue working with my office each and every day. Again, it was nothing more than more headlines with no substance and baseless.
In our last minute, I got to talk some local politics with you. You know what we do here at Inside City Hall. Are you planning to make an endorsement in the primary for mayor?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Let me ask you about another person you've tangled with along the way who brings up your name from time to time. Is Andrew Cuomo fit to serve as mayor, and could you work with him if he's elected?
So let me just say this. I am supporting a candidate who is someone without any drama. And whoever is the mayor of the city of New York, I am prepared to work with, again, because we are here to serve New Yorkers. But I'm hoping that the next mayor of the city of New York, who will not bring any additional drama to the residents of the great state of New York State and or to the city.
Okay, we have less than a minute, but how are you handling all of this? You got the White House coming at you. You've got Mr. Cuomo running for mayor. You've got a number of different issues and multiple lawsuits that seem to grow by the day. Do you maybe wish you had a different job?
No, I love my job. Each and every day I walk into this office with this fire in my belly. And the only question that I ask is, how can I serve the residents of the great state of New York? And I took an oath to the Constitution, to the citizens of the great state of New York, and I do it each and every day proudly. And a lot of people want to talk about all of the cases that are in the newspaper. I want to talk about the cases that oftentimes you don't hear about, individuals whose homes we were able to get back as a result of people who were subject to deed theft, consumers who were defrauded, who were the victims of breaches, consumers who unfortunately were engaged in payday lenders and they were paying exorbitant interest fees, and we were able to secure their funds back. Immigrants and individuals in the labor movement who unfortunately are not being paid or are victims of wage theft each and every day and misclassification. I stand up for them. Individuals who we arrest who are for selling illegal and dangerous drugs like fentanyl and cocaine all throughout the state of New York, securing over 7,000, taking 7,000 guns off of the streets of New York State. You know, those are the types of cases that we engage in. And, you know, I'm just really concerned about immigrants who come up to me each and every day who are concerned about being deported, individuals who want the same thing that you and I want, to live in a country free of where their liberties and their freedoms are respected and protected.
Mm-hmm.
That's all for today. Thank you. If you want global news to keep you up to date on any new developments, please subscribe our channel and forward our content with your friends on social media and email. Thank you very much for keep supporting me. Stay safe, be blessed. Namaste.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.